Yada, you ain't know. Yo, this Yada investigation for legal purposes only. Psychic Investigations channel. So, this video is very specific. You know, so, like I said, this is about the truth. The whole truth. Alright, so, out in nature, you already know. So, this is very interesting one here, okay? I'm gonna see if I can get this all into a specific time frame. As you can hear, the little children would like some attention. So let me tell you, let me give you some real facts, and you can check history on this, cause I expose mysteries, the mysteries. So here's something that you may have known, or what was kept from you at a specific time. All right. Did you know that back in the day, let's talk about the medieval times and stuff like that. Back in the, those days, did you know that, the thing is, witchcraft's been going on for a long time. You feel me? Witchcraft is still kind of going on. Okay. Shamanism as well. Some people are doing witchcraft, don't even know that that's kind of what it is. Some people are doing shamanism, and the thing is that back in the day, there were actually some not so good individuals. We're not going to talk about complexion wise either. Let your heart tell you what it is. So the thing is, there were some certain witches. They weren't good witches, basically. They were dark witches. Because you got certain type of witches that do, black magic, red magic, white magic. Okay, so these are real. Okay. So the thing is, these dark witches were getting a hold of certain type of watchers. Okay, they weren't really good. However, they were watchers. Okay, and this is kind of going to get real deep. So follow me. The thing is, somebody has to expose this. Okay, not just one. We all have to expose, because what's going on is we're in the matriarch system now. Okay, basically the spirit is taking over. The Holy Spirit is taking over all of us. So basically, if you're not really getting into them, you're going to get karma. That's what it is. This isn't about the patriarch system where the courts were kind of like, we're going to we're the judge, and you list us and all that stuff. And like I said, if you would like, I'm not trying to do an ad for this type of specific shirt. Just specific shirt ran across when at a specific time. Okay, and I just told these individuals I was going to make a video. So and now some of the individuals probably would like to make themselves known in the video specifically that I'm making. So like I said, some of the women just love attention. Hey, look at me, woo woo, and then they would like to know what you got in your pockets. You feel me? They would like to know all this, And so let me pause this for a minute while I still go by. Okay, now, okay, let's get to it here. Okay, so because the thing is, I'm going to lead up to something specific. Okay, my thing is, you can go fact check this. Okay, and correct me when I'm wrong. If there's any errors in what I have been saying, don't go around assuming because your emotions involved or something to hit you like, beep, beep, beep. Okay, I'm not with that. So now I have this certain amount of time because I'm going to say this as fast as possible, and as specific as possible. Okay, so these certain dark witches got a hold of certain watchers that didn't really understand humans. They weren't really humans. Okay, some of them were like archangels. Okay, the thing is that when these witches had a spiritual sexual thing, they did something spiritually sexual with them. Okay, it's called like a spiritual sex. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, not gonna beat around the bush. So the thing is, these women started having Nephilim. Fact check me. I don't go by your assumptions or what your look. They had Nephilim. Okay, so now one of them. Okay, I from my sources that this specific Archangel Michael is most likely a hybrid reptilian. Okay, so I don't pray to him. I don't do any prayers to this. That some who go by Archangel Michael. One time I heard some say Lord Michael. I'm like, no, I don't. I don't really f with you like that, because some and as if you're in a fraternity or sorority, and if you feel me, and you might be praying to Greek mythological characters or Greek gods or whatever you would like to call them. They're not, you feel me, they're lesser gods. However, in Greek mythology, however, you do find out when you read their stories that a lot of them are like homosexual, okay? Now, speaking about this, okay, nipped all this in the bud. If you praying to someone, like, if you say Jesus in Spanish, it's Jesus. Okay, so if you're Spanish and you're speaking, you might be praying to a Jesus, which is also the Zeus in mythology was a Greek god, whatever, supposedly in that specific thing. Lesser god, okay. The thing is, why I bring this up, okay, these specific reptilians, okay, these specific reptilians are asexual. They're male, they're masculine. Okay, so that's why they've been attempting to demasculinize the males. Have them walk around feminine, like feminines and females. Okay, they like to dominate. Their time is up. They're getting karma. Okay, that's why. So when y'all go around with all these, try to do like that transgender, all them male, whatever, they're trying to use them to piggyback on them. Like a lot of the first ladies were actually males. Do your research on this. So that's why you women that be getting the BBLs and stuff, you're kind of paving the way to males, these ones that would like to turn themselves to females or whatever, okay, to get those, to walk around fake. That's why I like when a woman is natural. There's ways to actually make your hair longer. If you don't know how to do it, you can reach out to me positively. Okay, now the thing is, they've been trying to get a hold of the I'm not gonna say black women like that, like how they would call, you feel me, if you would like to call yourself that or whatever. They've been attempting to get a hold of their DNA so they could last longer, okay? That's why they've been trying to get a hold of those specific women's bloodlines and the like. They like to call themselves, they've been tempting to do that, okay? That's why women, my complexion, the darker than my complexion, where they've been getting, kidnapped in certain ways. Okay, they've been getting taken in certain ways, or abducted. I gotta say that. Okay, truth ain't ever comfortable to hear when you know what's going on. Some people like, oh, God, stand up, you for me, God, stand up for me. I pray to the Holy Spirit. The thing is, when are you going to stand up for the Holy Spirit? When are you going to stand up for the Holy Spirit? This takes courage and bravery, okay? The thing is, the individuals are getting karma, and also those entities, those Tillians and everything. Like, you got to go on, like, what is it called? His name is, I really like that guy. Hold on, let me get back. David Icke. And he also had the Global Conspiracy book. I looked over. Who knows where he at? You feel me? So the thing is, they get on people from behind them. Like behind them, they use them like move. That's how they're pretty tall. Like, not saying pretty tall. It's just okay. So these Tillians been messed with the Anunnaki and something been using hybrids. Okay, so certain ones like. You can't get a recessive from the recessive gene. It comes from a dominant. You feel me? The supposed what you call black women had a dominant gene. They've been attempting to cipher from them and then try to get it from the male to have a female, but they attempt to turn her dark, basically into a lower consciousness where all she is just lustful. She's not really conscious, and get her into the material realm. Okay, so she don't know her spiritual power. Okay, y'all need to wake up and become educated. And not just knowledgeable, become educated. Okay? So this is what it is, all right? Legal purposes only. And hey, truth is out there. What you gonna do about it? One.